Come with us as we dive back into the world of Riders Republic, and buckle up because it's another lore episode. Today, we're going to finally solidify the backstories of the Ridge's increasingly elusive Brett and Suki. Are they the work of aliens, criminal masterminds, or are they just shredheads who live to ride and ride to live? Today, we fabricate the truth. Welcome back to the Riders Report.
Before we get started today, we want to recognize our existing YouTube members. A special thank you goes out to executive producers Bone Crusher 2D, Coach 34, and my mom, and our fans and Fans Plus.
If you'd like to become a member for as low as 99 cents a month and help support our channel, you can hit join below to learn more about perks like early access to the Riders Report, emojis and badges, a members only video per month, sneak peeks, and more.
Last week's Riders Republic weekly challenges took us to the beautiful Teton Mountains, and this week it looks like we are heading to Mammoth Mountain. So be sure to check out all of those challenges and get the sweet, sweet rewards.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Do you have your creative hat on? Or pants? Creative pants, so you don't have to put anything on. Just say yes. Just say yes.
Yes.
They can't see your pants. I hope they can't
see
your
you're recording
pants.
this.
Yeah, we're rolling, baby. Let's do it. So this week, we finally dive into putting some pen to paper for the lore of Riders Republic. We had 2 episodes where we tried to build and get some ideas, and I feel like we have a good enough groundwork to write our first chapter in this book.
Yeah, and one of the things you got to start with, obviously, is the main characters, and we don't have many in the game. Obviously, you play as one, but we have Brett, Suki, and the Shackdaddy Bandits as kind of the central people and groups that you interact with throughout Riders Republic. So we have to figure out what they're there for. What are their motives? What are they trying to do in the Republic?
Yeah, welcome to Chapter 1, The Who. So Brett and Suki are going to be the main focus here, and a lot of this fabrication is thanks to the latest, I believe it was Captain Snowbeard and Sack Squatch. Both of them had some new points that they brought in over on the forum, which is down in the description of the video. If you want to submit your ideas for the lore of Riders Republic, they are really helping fuel the fire here. So, okay, there's a plane. Right. Well, let's start even before that. There is an extreme sports competition. Let's say it's like the Audi 9s, it's the Dew Tour, whatever it may be. The best of the best all get onto one airplane. It's a party. It's an après ski party up in the air. This plane, for whatever reason, goes down. It crashes in one of the national parks. They don't know that when it crashes, but it crashes in the wilderness. When people come to, not everybody can remember where they were, who they are, and what is going on. So there's 2 factions form. Let's start there.
Yeah, and they explore the area a little bit, find out, there's a couple national parks, but they can't seem to get past certain points. They're kind of trapped in the national parks for right now. So it is best to just kind of group up, kind of work on some, where you're going to live, what you're going to do. The one faction splits off, kind of crazy. They take their t-shirts, they tie them around their heads, they're doing the bandanas, building all sorts of weird stuff out of the airplane and anything else they can find. So they've got, obviously, sports equipment. They've got their bikes, their skis, their snowboards, stuff in the cargo.
Right.
But now they're starting to attach parts of the plane, too. Make it look weird, make it bigger, maybe throw some rockets on some stuff. And they, the Shackdaddy Bandits kind of appear.
Yes. Yeah. So this plane crash is what fuels the rocket wingsuit, the skis, the bikes, the jumbo bike. The jumbo bike isn't, it's a bike that they retrofitted with the plane's wheels. That's why they're so big and round and, just rubbery. They start to manufacture these insane sports out of parts of the plane. And the other faction of riders is sitting quietly off to the side, disapproving, saying, this is way too dangerous. You guys are being reckless. We're stranded in the middle of nowhere. We don't know if people are here. We don't know if there's food that we can access. And you are just, you're tempting fate Why do you need to tempt fate any longer? And that one person who is voicing concern is Brett. Brett does not want to leave OG riding because he fears the new wave of these rocket-propelled sports are way too reckless, way too dangerous, and defeats all of the skill that all of these riders had. They're wasting their talents relying on the machines.
Yes, and he is out there to try and find riders who want to stick to that old style. They still want to compete. They want to have steez. They want to have a little bit of class. You can still have some fun, but you're taking it back to just exploring nature and enjoying it on your craft. So he sets off on his own little path, finds a nice place, the Riders Ridge area, and he builds it out of what he can find in the wilderness. So it explains a little bit of why the ridge is a little bit shaky with the construction. You've got shipping containers, you got wood nailed in random ways to build support structures that might fall down if you sneeze at them.
Nothing is sanded. Like, it's an ocean nightmare. It's a code violation, just smorgasbord. But Brett quickly realizes that, yes, he has made this paradise for OG riders. In the notes here, I called it vegan riding. You see where I get the burgers, the vegan, yeah, okay. All right, so Brett wants vegan riding, right? OG sports, no motors, still that chill ski snowboard vibe, right? The mountain energy. He's trying to harvest that at the ridge, and he's done that, but he needs riders, and more importantly, he needs somebody to trust, to lean on, to just he's lonely. He doesn't have anybody because everyone eventually makes their way over to the Shackdaddies, right? I think, right? Is that where we're going with this?
Most people, yeah.
Okay.
You got people heading over to the Shackdaddies. You got some that are kind of out there. Maybe they appeared, they weren't on the plane, but
right.
The Shackdaddies you are finding all over the map in weird, obscure locations doing all sorts of crazy events that are just, jumping off of cliffs and massive races and rocket bikes flying through the air on dirt jumps. So they've kind of taken over all of that. And Brett's still kind of holding down at the ridge.
Well, and we do know of one rider who was on the plane who has stood by Brett's side the whole way, but just wanted to go a slightly different route. And that's the dude that's playing drums all around the map. He's just chilling. He wants to play music. Every ski group has that one friend, right? Like the one kind of stoner energy that just sits there and vibes out. And everyone kind of just, like, he's the magnet, right? He attracts and he repels this vibe that everyone kind of just absorbs. Anyway, that is like Brett's ride or die, but he's out playing drums, just doing his own thing. Brett, I'll help you when you need help. Let me know. But let me live my life kind of energy. So Brett does need someone by his side. The day-to-day energy. Of course, the Shackdaddy Bandits and Brett aren't on great terms with one another, and they are a little more rambunctious. They're a little more mischievous, and they're trying to pull pranks on Brett. They're trying to do different things. Maybe they're trying to destroy parts of the ridge. I don't know, but Brett does need some help holding these core values in the ridge. So he goes back to the plane wreckage and he gets some of the electronics and some of the components from the plane, whatever the Shackdaddies left, and he builds something. What he builds is an android, a robot that acts like a human, but can be programmed to do exactly what he needs. And it's his help. It's the assistance that he builds. He tailor fits. This is a long way of saying Brett built Suki. Suki is an android, folks. That is where we are going. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, and that's where we want to go. Suki is an android built by Brett from the plane wreckage, who her main job is to welcome riders in to the way of Brett, the way of riding and living that Brett has, built here, and also to keep the Shackdaddy Bandits at bay. Now, you may be thinking, and you may be saying to yourself, Nick, Mitch, come on, guys, this is insane. We know that the Shackdaddy Bandits are in the ridge. Suki's playing security.
Yeah, they only have, one person that's a Shackdaddy Bandit in their one little tent. Brett's trying to be civil enough with his partners that are stuck in this national park area with him, so he gives them one spot, but they're not acting too crazy. They're just handing out some challenges, trying to get you to come join their side. But Suki's standing right next to them at the training academy, trying to teach the basics and the fundamentals of riding to those who want to follow that path.
Yeah, they're saying, come and get Steezy with us. You don't need training. Just come on and let's go out. And Suki's like, no. Build yourself up, become the best you can be, and then you can go have fun as well. So that, for all intents and purposes, is where we are starting this journey. Brett is, he went off and formed his own thing away from the Shackdaddy Bandits. They are out there doing whatever. Primarily, one of the more recent pranks, you might want to call it, that the Shackdaddies pulled off is Area 52. Now, we can assume because it's Area 52, there's some wordplay there with the world that we live in, like the real life world of Area 51 in the United States, the military training facility where all the aliens are in the Nevada desert. But so the Shackdaddies, Brett, they're all from our universe, so it's kind of tongue in cheek. They know of Area 51, so they call it Area 52, and they're dressing up as aliens, torturing or just at least, playing along with Brett's riders on the mountain, like, oh, we're aliens, look out, the aliens are here. And some people are upset, some people are scared, frightened. Brett knows that they're just the Shackdaddies. He's like, whatever, but Area 52 seems like a big attraction that the Shackdaddies built. Hey, Brett's riders, come on over here. Hey, look, we just built a BMX bike. You want to come shred it at our park? Of course you do. Let's go. Come on. And that's where the aliens try to recruit and bring you into their faction. Aliens, just again, being the Shackdaddy Bandits.
Yeah, and you can see Brett sticks to the more realistic scenarios. So he takes riders to challenges in Mammoth Mountain, where you have snow parks, different parks around the map, and even races like you had the Red Bull events, all of kind of the realistic events that he wanted to compete in. So
remember this?
Yeah. Whether or not he built all of those, we'll get into that at a later point, but he's sticking to the core classic events, and then Shackdaddies took over Area 51, painted it, made it all fun, and are just doing all sorts of weird sports.
Yeah, and there's still some elements that have been left. Like I have some glaring questions, and I'm sure you at home do as well. The biggest of those being, okay, so they're from our universe. They're in the virtual Riders Republic universe. One, how did they get there? How did they get to some random dimensional plane where, everything is kind of the same, but not really? Branding, speech, whatever. It's all the same, but it's just a little bit different. So why are they there? Clearly, the U.S. parks, the national parks right now in the real world aren't blocked off by some big, indistinguishable yellow barrier wall. Why is that there? And just what is going on? Why have they been cut off from society? Why is there no way back? Is there somebody controlling this? Is it an experiment? Is this just a random stroke of luck or misfortune? However you see that. What is at play? So today, Mitch and I tackled the who of the lore with Brett and Suki and the Shackdaddy Bandits. And the drummer guy, let's leave him. Does he have a name? Can we give him a name?
I think he's in the credits. We'll find it.
Okay. All right. We will find it for the next episode. But the next time we tackle lore of Riders Republic, we're going to be focusing on the why they are there, why the Ridge specifically, why the Republic specifically, and maybe what is going on. That is where we start to dive into, is there something else at play here? Is there really aliens? Is there really a criminal? Is this a Truman Show scenario we are dealing with? Spoiler alert, maybe. All of that coming up in another episode. Again, if you would like to help us out, help us build the lore of Riders Republic, you can click the form down in the description below the video and give us your 2 cents. Mitch, any closing remarks before we seal chapter 1 of Who?
I don't think so. I'm excited to get into the what next week, or not the what, the why.
The why.
The why, because I think that's a core reason what we have to have. Or, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, all of it is core. This is important, and it will be baked into the game in season 3, year 3, mark my words.
Yes. We have just one self-promo video this week in the Roundup, but it is an amazing one. This comes from Gunny Guns. It's in his series Into the Republic, episode 4, The Waves. One of my favorite spots to really ride in the Republic.
I was just going to say, this is one of my favorite spots to ride in the game. It was one of my favorite. It was pretty much the only thing that I did in the beta was find this spot and just shred it. There's so much to do. It's a never-ending line of natural features. And the music that he put under or over this video, whatever you want to call it, the music that goes along with this really plays to the vibe that Brett is trying to curate over at the Ridge in the Republic for the riders. It is so laid back, relaxed. I mean, it is just a fun video. So thank you very much to Gunny for popping another one down there in the self-promo tab. If you would like to be featured in an upcoming episode of the Riders Report, you can be like Gunny and send us a link over on the Discord channel under the self-promo tab. We'd love to feature you in the next one. And that's going to do it for episode 62 of the Riders Report. Thank you so much for joining us. And a special thanks goes out to all of our YouTube members, executive producers, Bone Crusher 2D, Coach 34, and Mama Bell, along with co-producers and Fans Plus.
And if you want to become a member just like them, hit join down below, read all of the cool perks, look at all the cool levels, and then you can help support our show and some of the cool content we put out. You'll get early access to the show, emojis, badges, a members only video, sneak peeks to intro edits, and a lot more. But if not, just subscribe and you'll still catch our weekly show every single Wednesday and all of our TFG X Game style competitions.
We will see you in same place, same time next week for another episode of the Riders Report. Until then, I'm Nick.
And I'm Mitch.
And we'll see you on the slopes.